1-year review of a 2021 Gazelle Ultimate C380. That's right, I put over 3,000 miles on this bike in 1 year, and I'm going to give you an honest owner's review. Again, I bought this bike with my own money, so I'm going to give you a no fluff review. Okay. Now, I've added a lot of accessories on this bike, so let's go ahead and talk about some of the accessories before I give you the details. But one thing that makes this bike different, we should talk about that, is that it has a timing belt, or excuse me, it has a belt versus a chain. I keep saying timing belt because it looks like a timing belt of a car, but in reality, it has a belt system. And the other thing that makes it different, it doesn't have a derailleur. It has an internal hub called Da Vinci, new Da Vinci. Okay, now let's talk about some of the accessories that I put on this, because I did spend a lot of money on accessories on it. The very first thing that I really like about this bike is that I put this bag here. This is an orderly bag. I usually keep my wallet, my keys, my sunglasses, and little snack. Okay. The other thing that I've added to this bike is these handles, and these are excellent because, you know, when I do like 50 to 100 miles, they give me a lot of hand positioning so my hands don't go numb. The other thing that I put on this bike was the mirror, and absolutely, I think that all bikes should come with mirrors. I don't know why they don't. I mean, this little thing cost me like 31 bucks, so it wasn't cheap. Okay. Now, some other things that I put on this bike was that I added this cup holder from Wolf Tooth. I haven't been too excited about it because the cup keeps falling off, but I guess that's because of this case versus the actual device, so I'll change that. The other thing I've added on here was this little bag in the front. This little bag in the front has been very, very helpful, just to keep like other things that I need in there versus my main bag. Okay. Now, I've also replaced the seat, and I put a Brook seat on there, and I've been very happy with it. And I've also upgraded the stem seat post, I should say, and put this kinetic seat suspension. Has been very, very good. That little piece right there was like $200-300 bucks. I think 273 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So very expensive. This thing was like about 150 or something, if not a little bit more. Then I did put the Orderly waterproof rear seat bag, and I did add the Orderly bags. Okay, the front and the back. Now, some of you guys say, why do I keep buying Orderly? Well, guys, they make really, really good stuff. This is not a sponsor. I bought all this stuff with my own money, but you know, German made. Most of the stuff on this bike is German made or from outside of America, from Europe. Okay, nothing in here is made from China. For example, this is made in Great Britain. The shoes, the tires are made in Germany. The handle grips are made in Germany. I mean, this bike Gazelle is made in Netherlands, so it's not a Chinese-made bike. It actually was made and assembled in Netherlands. Some other things that I've added to this bike was that I did add these shoes, and they've been very awesome because I did have some other ones that were very aggressive, but they were always eating up my shoes. Okay, and I would call it shark bites all over my feet. Okay, so that's basically the accessories that I've added on there. I do carry this water thing because one of the problems with this bike, even though it's an amazing bike, and I'll get into it in a second, it doesn't have enough water holders. Like if you're in a hot state, like where we are, maybe in Netherlands, it's cold, you don't drink that much water, but there's no water holders. So I have to carry a lot of water. Before I bought this, I had to put it all in my bag, and I didn't like that idea because sometimes it would leak. Anyways, now let's dive into the bike. I've owned this bike for a year, and I put 3,000, almost 300 miles on it, okay? And I've also wrote a book about flipping bikes. So I know a lot about bikes, okay? I wrote a book about flipping bikes where I teach students how to turn $100 into $700 in a matter of days with just flipping bikes from Motivated Seller. If you're interested, there's a link below. You can get it and download my book and my course and get free coaching to answer all your questions. But going back to the story, so I know a lot about bikes. I've also owned other e-bikes. Like, for example, I own a Track Damani HP. I spent $7,500 on that one. And that one was a crap. I was in the shop all the time, ladies and gentlemen. So compared to my Track Damani, this baby's been a very, 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 very reliable bike. Okay, I really like it. Okay, one other thing I forgot about the accessories. I did add the extension to be able to add this bag here because of the light situation. But the other bike that they offer, the what is it called? The Meadow T10. The lights are on the bottom, so you're not going to have that problem. But going to this bike, this bike's been a very reliable bike. You know, I paid for it with my own money, so you know, I'm not sponsored. I've driven it a lot. Hence why I have so many miles on it. So let's talk about some of the good stuff. Well, let's talk about some of the bad stuff. Everyone wants to know about the bad stuff. Well, one of the bad stuff is that no water bottles, just one only, guys. Okay, I forgot. I also have this accessories that I just put on here. This pump just cost me $70. The other day I was riding with my kids, and we had a flat in our Burley trailer, and the pump that I had was a Top Peak. I paid like $54 for it. I hadn't used it. After about 2 years, the first time I tried to use it, it wouldn't work, guys. So we had to walk 15 miles so to the trailhead so we could pump the tube that I had just replaced. So after that, I went up there and I bought a really good pump, $70, and I said, you know what, man, it's better to get something good versus something made in China versus, you know, that breaks down. Now, some stuff in China are made it good, but it depends on the company itself. But going back to the story, this is why I bought a bike from Netherlands, Europe, because I was tired of buying stuff from China or Taiwan by corporate America, just sticking their, you know, stickers on it and saying it was theirs, and it would have all these problems, okay? So I bought this bike and I've been very, very happy with it. I really haven't had any problems with it. I did have this water problem because I'm in Texas in the South and it's very, very hot. But besides that, I haven't had any problems with it. I did have problems with the dealership that I bought it from. They didn't know how to fix the belt system. I took it in multiple times. I hear it popping when I go. They don't know how to tighten it. They don't have the tool. So that's been a pain in the butt. And when I bought it, the dealer was crappy. They didn't really go through it. It was loose. Like the handlebar was loose when I was bicycling home right after I bought it, not even putting 3 miles on it. So the dealer's been crappy. That's the only bad part about Gazelle, that they don't have a great dealer. And the one that I bought it from was a very big company, but you know, just crappy, dude. You know, all about the money versus the customer. So one thing I learned is, man, it's very important that when you buy a bike, you know, you like the bicycle shop dealer, because if they're all about money, they're not gonna take care of you after the sale, okay? So I feel like this is what this company was about after I bought the bike. Now, coming back to the bike itself, it's been a very, very reliable bike. I love it. I do a lot of miles with it. The only problems that I had was that belt keeps popping, making a popping sound when I put a lot of stress on it. And I've taken it in multiple times and they haven't been able to fix it. Besides that, it's been a very, very solid bike. I haven't had any problems besides 2 flats. And you know, these are top of the line tires, Schwab's. However, where I live, there's a lot of glass, and you know, they're putting big gashes in my tires, guys, this wide. So I got 2 flats. Besides that, it's been a very, very, very awesome bike. One of the other problems with this bike, or downfall, it's not a problem, is that this bike is very, very heavy. Like, for example, when I bought my Damani Track Damani, that bike was only like 24 pounds or something, 26 pounds, very, very light, or maybe even a little bit lighter than that. This bike, without any accessories, is 67 pounds, okay? And I'm like 200 pounds. I'm in shape, you know, I work out, and I have a hard time picking this thing up. So for their target audience of older people, you know, that e-bikes are made for usually, you know, they're not going to be able to pick this up, put it on their trailer, or put it into their RV, or put it into their racks. It's very, very heavy. You know, like I said, I'm a fit dude. I do a lot of miles, and I can pick it up, but it is kind of heavy, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I'm not gonna lie to you. And I put it on the rack. You know, I'm like, ugh. Now the way it's sitting, you know, my bike has the way with all that stuff on there. I'm not even fully loaded. I would say it's at least 90 to 100 pounds, ladies and gentlemen. No joke, okay? So it's not a light bike, okay? So this is not a, you know, super fast bike, even though it has, you know, the C380, okay? And what the C380 means is that it has the belt system, plus it has the, you know, the top of the line engine, which goes to 28 miles an hour. So this is the top of the line. The Gazelle Ultimate C380 is the top of the line because it goes 28 miles an hour. Plus, it's top of the line because it has that belt system here. And also top of the line because it has that internal hub, which basically means you don't have to do any repairs, okay? Now, that's the positive things with that internal hub, but there's also negative sides with the internal hub. One of the negative sides with the internal hub, let me explain to you, is that, you know, it is heavy, okay? A lot heavier than just chain, okay? And hence why the bike weighs 67 pounds. The other thing with this internal hub is that there's more resistance, there's more friction than a chain, okay? And the third thing is that, you know, is less efficient, which means that it drains your battery a lot faster than a chain. And the reason I know is because my wife has a Gazelle we bought for her. And she has the Mado T10 Plus, which goes 28 miles an hour, the same battery. And she can do twice as many miles as my bike can, even though she's pulling the trailer, okay? So that chain makes the bike a lot more efficient. That hub, you know, is inefficient, weighs more. So just be aware of that. And also, there is more stress on your knees on the internal hubs, okay? I'm not sure if it's the belt or if it's the internal hub, but one day when I will get the better hub system that's out there, I forgot the name of it right now, then I could honestly tell you if it's the belt or if it's the hub. But I think right now it's the hub. It's not that efficient, and it puts stress on my knees. And again, you know, I do squats, you know, I work out. I've been working out since high school, so you know I have great knees. I don't have bad knees, but this thing puts stress on my knees. Okay, and for the first 500 miles was very, very bad. After the first 500 miles, after it breaks in, then it's a lot much better. But this baby is a heavy bike, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a light bike at all. So we talked about the engine is super fast. This bike is super fast, even though it weighs almost 100 pounds, okay? Another cool thing about this bike is that it has this shock system, and you're able to lock it up and out. Because when you want to get up on your bike, you can lock it up so it doesn't observe. If you want to boogie, you want to go fast, you want to lock, I lock it up so I don't lose momentum and lose my force by, you know, by the shocking system observing it, okay? So it does have a great shocking system. Also, it does have this, you know, gauge system where it lets you know how much battery you have, how many miles you have, what mode you're in, and you can go from eco to tour to sport to turbo. And I only go on eco, okay? I would say 99% of his life. I've only gone maybe on turbo, just, you know, so little, because every time I go out, I do a lot of miles, and I just go on eco and use that when I need to go up hills, okay? Because the bike weighs a lot. I use the puller trailer too. So I really haven't bicycled with it in turbo. I haven't really bicycled with it in sport. I'm missing out, but it sucks up a lot of battery. And I don't go out for just 2 or 3 miles. I do, like, you know, today I'm doing 50 miles. So every time I go out, I'm hitting at least 30 to 40 miles minimum, and then 50 to 70 miles if I have someone to go with. Today I'm going solo, so I'm just keeping it right around the 50. So, you know, overall, you know, the battery on this, you know, if you didn't have that internal hub and you had chain, which is the Gazelle Ultimate T10 Plus, if you had that one, then you probably can get about 60 miles, okay? If you're a strong rider, especially, you know, and you just keep it on eco mode, you can get like 60, 70 miles, literally, okay? But the Ultimate, you're probably looking at, if you keep it in eco mode, you know, probably about 40 to 40, you know, maybe 50, depends on how strong a rider you are and how much step you have on your bike. So the range is still pretty good, but it's not as good as the chain is what I'm trying to get to you. So if I were to buy this bike again, I may go with the chain system because it's more efficient, it's faster, the battery life is better on it, it's lighter, it's easier on my knees. But on the flip side, you know, with the chain, you got to clean it, you got to change the chain. And on this, like I said, I have 3,000 miles on it. I've never had to clean the chain. I never had to oil it. I've never had to tune the derailleur, which all that stuff takes time, money, maintenance, repair, visiting the repair stores and stuff like that. So that's one of the benefits of this bike and having this system, is that it's amazing. Now, another thing I would like to talk about is this cafe lock on the back. There's a lot of people on the internet talking crap about this, and I think this is such an awesome tool. Like, I've never had a bike before with that already on it. And this bike basically comes with everything on it, which is amazing. That's
you get a lot of value with it. And this cafe lock is excellent if you're trying to go to the Starbucks real quick, or you're eating lunch real quick and you're on a bike tour and you're at the restaurant. You can look at your bike through the window. It's awesome, right? Now, I wouldn't leave it, with that lock only if I was if I couldn't see my bike, or I wouldn't leave it in New York with that on without locking it up. So I do have a locking system that actually plugs into this, and it has a chain. It's in my bag, and I can put it around like something like this and plug it in. So I'll actually have a physical lock with it. So very cool with the cafe lock. I'm really digging it. This bike is an amazing bike. I haven't had any mechanical or electronical or any problems like that. Thank God. And so it's been pretty smooth. The only thing I had was that that clicking noise once in a while I hear when I put a lot of stress on it. And I've added tons of accessories on it, and all the accessories that I've had on it, I'm very, very, very happy with it. And I'm also very happy with this kickstand, ladies and gentlemen, because if you don't have a good kickstand, these bikes are not cheap. Not only do you damage them, you scratch them all up, but you also damage your gear. Like in here, I have my food, my laptop, and stuff like that. And so the kickstand has been excellent. You can pull it up and down without any tools. You can shorten it, you can lengthen it, depending on the condition. The battery's been okay. I wish that the battery could go longer, but I thought about adding an extra battery, because on the Ultimate C380 you're able to add an extra battery, but that's going to cost an extra $1,000. And currently, I'm not doing super long tours where I need that, because if it's 100 miles or less, I can basically pedal myself. So even though that the bike is heavy, it's not pleasurable biking this thing by yourself without any power, but I do it all the time. With a trailer, it sucks. Okay, like, let me be honest with you, it really sucks with the trailer. But but I always go out with gear. I've never gone with just by itself. But with gear, no power, uphill is very, 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 very hard. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So that's why I just try to save the battery for uphills, because instead of just killing myself, I'd rather just put it in eco mode and get some help. The other cool thing about this bike is that it comes with, like, the rack is amazing on it. It has a little thing right here. I can put stuff on it. It has the light integrated in there when you turn it on. The front light is amazing. Okay, on this Gazelle Ultimate 380, you're able to move it up and down without any tools. This is very, very important. If there's people in front of you, you're blinding them, you can quickly move it down. The other cool thing with this is it comes with a nice bell, which is excellent. Overall, I've been very, very happy with this bike. The only reason I wouldn't buy this bike again is because of this weight, okay? Now, in the future, I might get a carbon fiber bike like I had before. And the reason is because it's just so much lighter. When it's lighter, I can have the engine off and I can pedal more. When it's lighter, I can pick it up, I can go faster. It's more efficient on the battery. So I realized that, after putting so many miles on this bike, that, having a heavy bike kind of sucks. Even though it's a tank, it's kind of like a truck. It's kind of it's harder on your joints and stuff like that, right? Versus having a lighter bike, especially when you're stopping and going. So one thing I learned is that, maybe on my next bike, I would prefer to get a Gazelle that's carbon fiber. Hopefully at that time they'll start making them. And but besides that, guys, on a scale of 1 to 10, I give this bike, a 10. The only reason I wouldn't give it a 100% 10, I'll give it a 9, is because of the customer service from the bike dealer that I bought it from. Their inability to fix the clicking noise with these carbon belt. But besides that, this bike is pretty awesome. No problem. And I give it a 9. And I couldn't really give it a 10 is because how much it weighs. But compared to other bikes in this category, this thing weighs right around the same weight. It does weigh a little bit more, but again, it has that Da Vinci hub. Okay, and the way that works is that you just turn it from here. So one of the cool things with this bike is, I don't know if you guys ever had bikes where you stop somewhere and you're in a high gear and it's very hard to change. Well, on this one, I can just twist it standing still and change gears, which is amazing. But on the negative point is that, when you're going, you're trying to go fast, changing gears with just turning is not that accurate. Sometimes you just underestimate or under turn, and it's not like as cool and crisp as a derailleur shifting system. system. So with anything in life, guys, you have pros and cons. So I want to just bring all of it out for you because this is no fluff. Would I buy this bike? Absolutely. I love everything about this bike. I decked it out. I put a lot of money into it with accessories and stuff like that. I love all the accessories on here. I would highly recommend all these accessories on here. I don't know about this one, but the grip's been excellent. The bag's been amazing. The seat's been super duper. I haven't tried the pumps. I can't really tell you about that. The pedals have been amazing. The seat suspension, I'm kind of like, I'm not sure if it's worth $300. It is very comfortable, but the problem is that it makes a lot of noise, ladies and gentlemen. He's like, and whenever you're pedaling, and that's really annoying. So I would probably not buy the seat suspension unless you want super comfort. If you want super comfort, this is it. There's another company out there. I think I should have bought the other one because I don't go off-roading so much, and I think this is more for off-roading. But either way, it's very, very comfortable. It makes it so comfortable that when I ride bikes, I hit a big bump like this or something, I don't even get off my seat. I just sit in there because it takes it really good. So overall, I would give this bike a 9 point something out of 10, but that's amazing. My Damani, my 2021 Damani, track Damani, I would only give that bike like a 2 because, like I said, in the first 15 days of ownership, I was in the shop so many times. I was having engine problems. I had the same Bosch engine, but I was having all kinds of engine problems, sensor problems. I broke like 4 spokes on it in just a few days of ownership, ladies. It was just like the crappiest bike ever, and it cost at least $3,500 more than this bike did. So in essence, I bought this bike. I was able to save like $3,500 or $3,000. So I bought my wife another bike. So I'm very happy with Gazelle. I would buy it again. I wish the next time I buy an e-bike, they have the lighter version because I already have a heavy version. It'd be nice to have a lighter version, reliable bike. Now, one of the reasons I went with Gazelle versus like a Track or a Specialized, well, I bought a Track and it was horrible, and I realized that they're just sticking stickers on there. I've owned some Specialized, and this is all right. So I figured, man, why don't I just buy it from a company that actually manufactures it in their own country? Let me buy it from a company that's been in business for quite a while. Let me buy from a capital of bicycles, which is Netherlands, right? People in Europe bicycle a lot more than in America. So I bought a bike that's very, very reliable. I've been super happy with it. I've done tons of miles with it. I've been so happy. I bought my wife a bike, Gazelle Mido T10 Plus. I told my brother, he bought a bike, and I've done videos about it to let you guys know. Is it worth it? Is it worth the money? Absolutely. If you're just a weekend warrior, you're not gonna ride a lot. Maybe you don't want to spend $5,000-6,000 or something like that on a bike. But if you're gonna use it a lot, you're really into bikes, then absolutely, guys. If you're not looking for a headache, you're not looking to for a money pit, this is it. I think that if you buy a Track, you buy a Specialized. I looked at the online forums. I read a lot of reviews. I've even owned a brand new. I think that those two bikes you buy, you're probably going to have headaches, but I'm not 100% sure. I've had a Specialized 2020. It wasn't an electrical, but like right off the bat, I was having crank problems. Okay, so I was like, man, this sucks. And I did a video about it on YouTube. So after that, I didn't buy any more Specialized. And after my Track, I bought 2 Tracks. Track Damani and a Track Checkpoint, both in 2021, and they both had problems. So I'm like, I'm probably never going to ever buy another Track. Now they look really cool, and everything like that. Service is a-okay, but they don't know a lot about the electrical stuff. Neither is this bicycle dealer that I bought it from. So in that sense, these e-bikes are so new that be ready to become an expert yourself, because a lot of bike shops that are just money oriented just they don't know. Now, there are good bike shops out there. I'm trying to still find one in my hood. But anyways, guys, great bikes. Best electrical bike that I personally own, and I've owned 2 of them. I've owned a lot of different bikes. One of the cool things about this bike, they use high quality parts. They give you a fully loaded bike, with good handlebars, suspension, top of line engine, good seat. Lights, fenders, racks. Everything you can imagine, fully loaded, for a very, very affordable price. It's not cheap. There are a lot of e-bikes out there for $1,500 or $2,000. This is like, if I'm not mistaken, like 5,500 or something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's been a year, but yeah, it's not a cheap bike, but it's not as expensive as a Track Damani. it's a couple of $1,000s cheaper. Okay, so excellent bike. I would buy it again. Hopefully, I don't need to. But my next bike, as an e-bike, I'm going to try to get a lighter bike, guys, because hopefully my kids have been growing up and they could pedal themselves, and I don't have to carry them, so I don't have to get a super duper truck. I can get a fast ride, dude, especially lighter. I don't go that fast, but I just want a lighter because it's a lot easier on my knees. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Thank you for clicking the like button. If you have any questions about this Gazelle, if you have any questions about the Damani, leave a comment. Like I said, I have the Gazelle Damani. I have the Gazelle Ultimate C380, and we also have the Gazelle Meadow T10 Plus. So we have two of those. So I'm very familiar with both bikes. I've already done over 3,000 miles on this bike. So any questions, let me know. I'll be happy to help you. This thing does have amazing brakes too. I forgot to talk about that. I mean, these brakes are just like, there's like 4 pistons on both sides, and they're very, very powerful. These are the most powerful brake systems I've ever had in any bikes, and I've owned a lot of bikes. I wrote books about flipping bikes, so I've flipped a lot of bikes. I've had Orbeyas. I mean, everything you can imagine. And I like Orbeyas, but man, these brake systems are pretty amazing. So overall, I give this bike a 9. I would definitely recommend anyone buying it. It is expensive, but if you need an e-bike, there are a lot of junks out there, like low-end bikes that are just nothing but headaches. You can't find parts for them. And there's also high-end bikes that are but nothing but junks, just hype. And I've been a victim of the high-end junk bikes from one of the biggest reputable companies in America, and I've done videos about how many problems I had. So check it out in my video records of my tractor money and the nightmare problems that I had. But this Gazelle has been straight. Haven't had any problems with it. And let me knock on some wood, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for clicking the like button. Always remember, you're braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, smarter than you think, and twice as beautiful as you ever imagined. Romy. Peace.